She lied to enter the cockpit. She was 17, had no license, and her father was not a pilot. Then both engines failed at 34,000 feet. The real pilots froze. 200 lives depended on one thing, her lie. And everything she had secretly learned in her garage. It was a Monday, 10:42 a.m. June 8, 2020. The lie was simple. 3 days before this flight, 17-year-old Sophia Brennan had forged her mother's signature on a United Airlines unaccompanied minor form. In careful block letters, she had written, "Passenger has severe anxiety about flying. Request cockpit visit. Father is commercial pilot, Southwest Airlines." Every word of it was false. Her father, Dr. James Brennan, was a surgeon. He had never flown a plane in his life. But Sophia had spent 8 years teaching herself to fly. It started when she found her grandfather's old pilot logbooks in the attic. That same year, she began building a cockpit simulator in her garage using an old computer chair, 3 monitors, and flight software. By the time she was 17, she had logged 2,847 hours flying Boeing 737s in that garage through every emergency scenario she could program. She knew the aircraft better than most people who flew it for a living. But she had no license. She was too young. So she had lied. United Flight 328 was a Boeing 737-800 flying from Chicago to Los Angeles with 200 passengers and 6 crew members on board. Sophia sat in seat 14F with her backpack on her lap. Inside was a copy of the Boeing 737 Technical Guide, Systems and Components. Sophia was wearing wire-rim glasses, a NASA t-shirt, and she had her strawberry blonde hair pulled back in a ponytail. Around her neck was the yellow lanyard that marked her as an unaccompanied minor. She looked like any other teenage girl on a flight. At 10:15 a.m., a flight attendant named Patricia appeared in the aisle beside her. "Sophia. The pilots are ready for you now." Sophia's heart jumped. The lie had worked. She stood up and followed Patricia to the front of the plane. The cockpit was everything Sophia had dreamed it would be. She stepped through the door and stopped. The instrument panels were right there in front of her, real, solid, alive with soft lights and numbers. Captain Richard Keller was 56 years old, with gray hair and kind eyes. He turned in his seat and smiled. "Your dad flies for Southwest, right? What's his name?" Sophia's stomach pulled tight. "James Brennan. He's based in Denver." Keller nodded. "Different hub. Don't know him." Crisis averted. First Officer Emma Park was 29, sharp-eyed, and quick. She gestured toward the small jump seat. "Want to sit?" Sophia sat. She tried not to stare at every instrument like she had never seen them in person, because she hadn't. But she couldn't help herself. Her eyes went straight to the fuel flow indicator. "Is that the fuel flow indicator?" Emma looked surprised. "Yeah. You know your instruments." "My dad lets me sit in the cockpit sometimes," Sophia said. Keller smiled. "More than most passengers know." Sophia memorized everything. The layout matched her simulator perfectly. Then, without any warning, Engine 2 failed. The engine simply stopped. Warning lights flashed across the panel. An alert chime sounded. Captain Keller's eyes snapped to the instruments. Engine 2 failure. Emma's training took over. Starting restart procedure. Sophia felt her heart stop. This was not supposed to happen. Keller pressed the radio button. "Denver Center, United 328, engine failure. Requesting priority handling." Emma ran through the checklist. But the engine would not restart. "No restart. Fuel pressure is 0. Keller took a slow breath. Single engine operation. We train for this. We're okay. Sophia knew he was right. A Boeing 737 could fly on one engine. They were going to be fine. Then engine 1 failed. Both engines were dead. The cockpit went almost silent. There were no more engine sounds, only the quiet rush of wind moving over the wings. They were gliding. 34,000 feet above the ground, United Flight 328 was a very large, very heavy glider with 200 people inside. Emma's voice was tight and controlled. Both engines down. Captain Keller's face turned white. His hands were shaking. Both, that can't happen. Emma looked at him sharply. Captain, I need you to fly. He did not move. He did not speak. He was frozen. In 19,000 hours of flying, he had never seen anything like this in real life. His mind could not accept what his eyes were reading. Emma took the controls herself and began trying to restart the engines. But she had 2,100 hours, and most of it was routine. She was overwhelmed and working alone. Sophia sat still in the jump seat. Her mind had already shifted into the place it went during simulator emergencies. She had flown this exact scenario dozens of times. Dual engine failure at high altitude. She knew what caused it. She knew how to fix it. But she was 17 years old. She had no license, no rank, no authority. Would they listen to her? She looked at the altimeter. 9 minutes before they were too low to recover. She made her decision. First Officer Park, Sophia said. Her voice was quiet and steady. Emma did not turn around. Not now, Sophia. Go back to your seat. The fuel pumps failed, Sophia said. Emma's hands went still. She turned her head. What? Both engines flamed out at the same time, Sophia said. That is not a coincidence. It is a common mode failure. The fuel pumps. The 737's dual-pump fuel system has a backup circuit. If the primary pumps failed, the standard restart checklist will not work. You need to manually activate the auxiliary fuel pump override. It is not on the normal checklist. But it is in the System Architecture Manual. Page 47, Section 3.2. Emma's mouth opened slowly. She looked at this teenager in the jump seat, glasses, NASA t-shirt, yellow lanyard, and said the only thing she could say. Who are you? Sophia looked her directly in the eyes. Someone who knows how to fix this. Trust me. Right now. Emma made a decision. She had a frozen captain, 2 dead engines, 200 passengers, and a teenage girl who was speaking with the calm of someone who had done this before. Tell me what to do, Emma said. Sophia moved to the center console. Auxiliary fuel pump override. Behind panel 3. We have to activate it manually. The switch is protected by a safety wire because it bypasses the normal fuel system protections. But we need it right now. Emma looked at the lower console. I don't know where that is. I do, Sophia said. She pointed to a small panel on the lower left side. Emma opened it. Inside were 2 switches, each held in the off position by a thin safety wire. Break the safety wire. Then flip both switches to on. Emma hesitated for 1 second. If I'm wrong about this. You're not, Sophia said quietly. Trust me. Emma broke the safety wire with her fingers. She flipped both switches to the on position. Now restart engine 1. Fuel selector to auxiliary. Ignition to continuous. Press the starter. Emma followed each instruction without hesitation. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the engine caught. They heard it spool up, a low sound rising into a roar. The thrust indicators began to move. "Engine 1 is running," Emma said. Her voice cracked with relief. "Engine 2. Same procedure," Sophia said. Emma repeated every step. The second engine caught. It spooled up. The thrust came back. Both engines were running. The plane was flying again. Emma sat back and looked at Sophia. "You just saved us," she said. Sophia's legs were shaking. She had not noticed until now. "I have practiced this," she said. "A lot." "Flight school?" Emma asked. Sophia's face turned red. "No. My garage. I have a simulator. I have been flying 737s on it since I was 12. 2,847 hours, all simulated. I am not a real pilot. I am 17. And I lied on the form to get into this cockpit. I'm sorry." Emma stared at her. Then she laughed, a shaky laugh that was mostly relief. "You lied?" "Yes." "You are 17. "Yes." "And you saved 200 people using things you learned on a simulator in your garage?" "Yes." Emma shook her head. "I don't care. You knew what I didn't know. We are alive because of it." She pressed the radio button. "Denver Center, United 328. Both engines restarted. Dual fuel pump failure confirmed. Requesting priority landing at Denver." The radio crackled back. "United 328, turn right heading 090. Cleared direct Denver. Emergency services standing by." The landing was smooth. Emma flew every foot of it, and Sophia sat behind her, ready and watching. She was not needed again. They touched down safely. 200 people walked off that plane, most of them never knowing how close they had come. 2 days later, FAA investigator Victoria Lang sat across a table from Sophia in a small room at Denver International Airport. "You falsified airline documents," Victoria said. "Yes, ma'am." "Your father is not a commercial pilot." "No. He is a surgeon." "I lied." "You are 17 years old. You have no license. No certification. Just a garage simulator." "Yes, ma'am." Victoria looked down at her notes for a moment. Then she looked back up. "The auxiliary fuel pump override procedure. Where exactly did you learn that?" "The Boeing 737 Technical Guide," Sophia said. "Page 47, Section 3.2. I have read that section 14 times." Victoria was quiet. "That manual is written for maintenance engineers." "I bought it on eBay for $32, Sophia said. Victoria set down her pen. She was quiet for a long time. "What you did was illegal. You falsified documents. You entered a restricted area under false pretenses. But you saved 200 lives." Sophia looked at her. "I knew the procedure. They needed help. I gave them the help I had." Victoria closed her folder. "I have been doing this job for 20 years. I have never seen anything like you." She paused. "Am I in trouble?" Sophia asked. "Technically, yes. Practically, I have absolutely no idea. You broke the rules. But you stopped a tragedy." 2 weeks later, United Airlines released a statement saying they were grateful for the assistance received during Flight 328, and that while standard procedures had not been followed, the outcome had prevented a tragedy. No charges were filed against Sophia. The FAA issued her a formal warning never to falsify documents again. An agent Victoria Lang sent her a short message: "When you turn 18, apply for flight school. I will write your recommendation letter." You are a natural. 6 months later, Sophia turned 18. She applied to flight school and was accepted. The 2,847 simulator hours could not count toward her official license, but they showed something that could not be faked. Her instructors said they had never taught a student who learned so fast. She earned her commercial pilot license at 20. By 23, she had 1,500 flight hours. At 24, United Airlines hired her as a first officer. The girl who had lied to see a cockpit was now paid to fly one. 10 years after Flight 328, Captain Sophia Brennan was 27 years old and the youngest captain in United's entire fleet. On a quiet morning before a flight, her nervous co-pilot turned to her and said, "What do you do if something happens that you're not prepared for?" Sophia smiled. "I saved a plane at 17 with knowledge I learned in my garage." You have real training. You are more prepared than you think. Trust what you know. And if you don't know something, ask. There is no shame in asking. Even when you're the captain. Especially when you're the captain. Knowledge first. Rank second. Always. She looked out at the runway. She remembered being 17. The lie. The fear. The shaking legs. Ready for pushback. Ready. They flew.